Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this evening, afternoons, mornings edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And today we have, oh God, today's gonna be a fun session. Y'all, it's okay. I'm gonna just kind of breathe into this slowly as people are coming in also and going live. Because today we have the Animals as Messengers call with the one and only Anna Maria Vasquez. And this is gonna be fun. And we're gonna do a lot of readings, and so you're going to get a taste and a deep one, and one that'll serve you well. And again, it's just a taste of what Anna Maria offers through her programs and in private sessions, both of which we're offering in today's special offer. So if you know you want a session with Anna Maria, which I highly recommend, I had one with her yesterday, and I was spinning for hours from it. Actually, I was spinning right before our call also, in these places that I went, and maybe we'll discuss it a little bit on the call. But again, you have the opportunity to ask your personal questions. So you may want to raise your hand, type your question into the chat box, knowing that you'll have the opportunity to go deeper with a one-on-one session and into Anna Maria's program that we'll review later in the program as well. So Animals as Messengers. Again, Anna Maria is so tied into like these different energetic realms and the way that she communicates with nature, with animals, with the galactic. She's, again, as far as I'm concerned, second to none. But as a multi-sensory animal and nature intuitive, she lifts the veils between what's happening in the 3D world and the energetic patterns behind that. So she teaches and she speaks and she does remote sessions, and it connects with the natural, the world resources, which helps her source in helping you understand the messages that are coming from animals and nature, and unpacking what's coming through for you so that you can understand it, ground it, and apply it into your life. So y'all are going to get to witness that. And again, so much more on today's call. And it's with that brief introduction to Anna Maria that I want to welcome you to today's call. Thanks for being here.
Oh my goodness, John. It's always fun when we get to be together. You know, folks know both of us for what they know us for, right? Like you hosting your shows, me doing the animal and nature work. But John and I know each other when both of us were cutting our teeth working as virtual assistants on the back ends for other people's shows. And so we've been soul family for a long time. So it's always extra special for me when I get to be here.
It's so wonderful. So let's dive into the conversation and the work and into readings. As a matter of fact, April, do me a favor and put the link for the special offer for everybody who already knows they want a session. Go ahead and click on the link and go check out. And again, we're going to be going through lots of Q&A today from the audience. Animals as messengers. And again, we've had this conversation before. Almost everybody on this call, if not everybody, has the understanding and awareness of animals and nature as messengers. But I'm curious from your perspective, how is that shifting these days? How's it expanding and growing?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because it feels like, from what I'm seeing in private sessions, what I'm experiencing, and even the downloads that I get right when I'm tapping in and in the listening, it's intensifying. So what we're seeing is issues with animals in the wild, right? Like more intense situations, things with our own animals. We're seeing, rises in all sorts of interesting diseases that really hadn't been showing up in our animals before. And then in everybody's life and their relationship with their animals, I'm seeing this intensity happening. And again, we're all feeling it in our own lives in other areas, the quickening, the intensifying, and it is the perfect opportunity to ride that energetic wave and learn how to connect in and understand what these messages are, because we're not doing this alone, right? Like, we have all these allies, and some of them are furry or feathered or finned or whatever, whatever form they're taking, and they have messages that help us in everyday situations, but help us on our path of expansion. I think of the animals as like furry guides, really, these masterful teachers that are here to help us if we'll pay attention. And the truth is, there are times that we won't listen to the messages coming through for ourselves, but when they affect our animals, oh my gosh, there's nothing we wouldn't do. We love them so much.
Right. Oh, that's such a, yeah, of course. And it's funny in our community how it's always easier to take care of someone else that we love. But when it comes to us, we can be quite negligent, to be honest. And we're aware of it, but we continue to perpetuate it. So I love that you bring it into perspective. There's also animals as messengers that, oh, go ahead after you.
I was going to say, you actually bring up a point from another conversation that we had where, because we'll do that, we'll care for our animals, right? In even ways that we're not going to care for ourselves. It gives us the opportunity to bring healing to our young one, our inner child, because as we're caring for the animals, we can also set the intention that we bring that healing in to those wounded places, and the animals are showing us, right, in their behaviors, especially our companion animals, in behaviors and in physical symptoms. They're mirroring back different energetics that correlate with these wounds that we received in childhood. And so it gives us an opportunity to tend to our own inner child while we're caring for our animals. And it's like, you can't outgive the animals.
Yeah, it's amazing. And again, it's amazing how the energies of the animals show up in the physical in this realm, but also how they show up etherically, how they show up through the energetic worlds. In the session we had yesterday, Anna Maria took me through this session and through this gateway into this field surrounded by 9 huge monolithic stones and into a triangle of cedars. And I just felt myself vibrating and being uplifted, and something like my central column being ignited, and then the animals that came through, Anna Maria. And I don't have pets, but it doesn't exclude me from receiving messages from the animals. And I'd love it if you can expand on that, because for y'all to benefit from today's call and to really go, if you've been a pet owner and it's wonderful to have that visceral relationship in this way. But they're showing up for us in so many other ways.
Yeah, this operating, well, first of all, your experience, right, where you said like you could feel the vibration for even days afterwards, and that feeling of not being able to articulate anything right after because you're in the wow. That is very common. I mean, that is very common occurrence when I do sessions with people. And in fact, this morning I got a message from somebody else that said, oh my gosh, I just wanted to let you know that session was amazing. And I was vibrating for days afterwards. She goes, I'm just now starting to feel, like that's dissipating. But that knowingness and that physical acknowledgement that there's a shift taking place. And what's going on with the animals, again, whether we have animals or not, the animals in general have messages and energy to share with us. So whether it's animals in the wild, whether it's companion animals, whether it's animals that bring up fear in us, all of them have messages to source us. And it's not that we don't pay attention to them and what's going on for them. But what I have found, over the last decade or more, is that when we couple the energetics with the physical, that we can really turbocharge the movement for the animal, again, whether it's physical or behavioral, and for ourselves. It's like borrowed benefits that we get, and they're acting as this mirror for our inner terrain. And so even like blind spots that we might have, right? Like what I love about this community is everybody is so earnest and dedicated to being the best version of themselves and being on this path of expansion. And this is where what I do differs just a little bit from, I'm going to say regular animal communicators, which is so funny to say, because decades ago, we didn't even have this terminology. I didn't even know that was a career choice, right? And now,
yeah, right.
And I'm even able to go deeper in. And so for folks who are on their path and they share their lives with an animal, whether it's companion animal or animals out in the wild or on the planet, that we can work with what the animals are presenting and get you specific messages for yourself that are going to help you in your expansion, in your own healing, but also benefiting the animals. And that's the truth when we're operating in unity consciousness, right? When we all do better, we all do better. So it brings us to this next layer. And I feel like almost like a practice to add into our lives, right? Like our spiritual path, it's not supposed to be so serious. It should be fun and playful. And I feel that's where the animals really bring in that aspect. And oftentimes their messages are about having more fun and playing, as many have experienced at their computers where their dogs, nudging their arm, like, come on, you need to disconnect from that machine, or the cat that sits right on top of the computer.
Oh my God, I love it when that happens. That's so fascinating. But Maria, I want everybody, and again, a lot of y'all probably experienced it, Maria, she's been quite the staple here on Beyond the Ordinary. But it's always fascinating when we go in and see what else expands. And every question that we take, I feel just helps this collective group, whether live or on the replay. So this is going to be amazing. I want to go ahead and dive into the Q&A and just open it up.
It's the best way to describe it, right? Like we can talk in theories and stuff, but when people see it, right? Because the question comes in and that activates the flow for me, right? Like I can't hear the question without it coming through. And so multisensory, it comes through all of my senses. So sometimes I'm hearing it, sometimes I'll see it either in my mind's eye or in the physical. I'll feel it or I'll know it. Or I get a lot of visuals when, even before you guys ask your question, just sometimes John will say the person's name and I'll start getting information right away. And then I can share with you, right, what's going on energetically behind what you're talking about. So I'm really excited, and I'm glad that we had agreed to do so many readings, because first of all, people are needing clarity, and this is a great way to serve like that. And the second is, of course, to demonstrate, right? Like, okay, this is what's possible here. So very exciting. Thanks so much.
All right, well, let's go ahead and dive into Q&A, y'all. And again, if you know that you want a session with Anna Maria and do the course, the special offer link is in the chat box. April will type it in again, and we'll go through it a little bit more with a little more detail a little bit later on the call as well. I first want to take a question that came in from in the chat box, and this comes from Michelle. Michelle writes, "Hey there, my dog Goldie has been clingy. I trip over her or have trouble moving in bed because she's always right up against me. She's also incredibly picky about her food, never wanting to eat the same thing twice. What's going on?"
Oh my goodness. Well, the name of the dog was Goldie?
Goldie.
Okay, let me just feel in here for a second. So like we were saying, animals will mirror back aspects of ourselves, right? And the way that our contracts work with them, right? Our energetic and soul contracts is when an animal lives with us, right? When they're out in the wild, they use all their energy, they tune in to find food, not be food, and get mates and all of these things that when they live with us, they don't have to do anymore. But they do learn that tuning in to our energy is helpful for them, right? When we're in a good mood, we are passing out treats, we're playing with them, we are really, in our heart space, we're all smiles. When we're in fear or deep in thought or, in a contraction, we are like, go lay down. There's no passing out treats. There's no, fun playing. We shift our energy completely. And so our animals know I need to be tuning into that. Part of that tuning in is they help us process excess energy that comes into our field that we're either not able or unwilling, or maybe we just don't know how to do it. And just like us, right, in our body, if we have too much energy accumulate and get stagnant in a certain area of our body, right, we're going to have a physical issue that's going to show up, that manifests, that materializes from that. Same thing for our animals. If there's too much energy that they're having to process from us, that it's going to accumulate somewhere, and it's going to show up either behaviorally or physically. And we can't tell them, don't do that. it's part of the contract. It doesn't work that way. It'd be really nice. The way that we can relieve them of that is to look at the energetics and really bring an awareness and a shift in ourselves, because that will release that energy, and then they can be released and they can come back into balance, meaning the physical or behavioral symptom can go away. And this can happen pretty quickly. So as we look at what's going on with Goldie in terms of the clinginess, because the food piece is actually separate, but with this clinginess piece, this is about uncertainty that's showing up. So, any of us can relate to this. Scroll through your news feed, or turn on the news for like 1 second and then quick turn it off. You'll see so many things there telling you need to be afraid of this. You need to be worried about this. It's the big unknown. Well, you know what? Life has always been an unknown. This is not breaking news in any regard. It's just the cast of characters and the plot has shifted. And those forces that, again, want to play on our fears. So there's so much fear out there, this side and that side. I mean, just the us and them, the fact that it is up there. And then for you, sweetie, the fact that you are such an empath and you can feel everything, right? But you don't always know what to do with all of it. And the truth is, most of it's not yours anyway. So you need to be releasing that. You need to be asking first, who does this belong to? Because you're trying to process things that aren't yours. So release the things that aren't yours. That's going to give you more awareness for where you can direct your energy, of where you can actually be of service. And I don't even mean physically out in the world. I'm talking definitely in the energy, in the realm, the energetic realms. So what I'm feeling, Goldie, is like feeling that uncertainty with you as the pack leader, and feeling like, I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's not business as usual. And so for you to really, that process that I said, when you feel strong energy, who does this belong to? Because you're just taking on too many cosmic hitchhikers, and it's affecting your field, and Goldie's picking up on that. In terms of the food issue, it's just her being persnickety. It's just her personality, right? Like, some of us are very picky. I mean, if you ask James, he'll say that I am one of those people around what I want, how I want it, when I want it. And I'm getting Goldie's like my soul sister in that. Like, this, can we try something else? What I would do is she's very funny that way. And she knows you'll do it too, right? Like, you love her so much, she knows you'll do it. What I would do is I would be introducing some fresh foods to whatever food you're already feeding, whether it's like sardines, maybe some blueberries, things like that, just to keep her interested and curious.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, Anna Maria. And I love also what you brought in about Goldie reflecting back, what's being picked up from the collective and what she's taken on. And again, if she sees Goldie suffering through that or going through the chaos of that, this goes back to the point where we will do for our pets and our familiars what we won't do for ourselves. So Goldie showing up as an ambassador to point out to her is like, hey, slow down, come back to yourself, collect yourself from the collective thoughts and ground in. It's a beautiful act of service from Goldie. But what a beautiful act of service that we can give to our pets by pausing when we feel that, by clearing our field. Really, it's like we're giving that. It's like we're providing that relief because we don't know why the clingy is, but you do now. And to be able to do that not only for Goldie but for yourself, the ripple effects in the collective consciousness get to benefit from that accelerated light. And so, again, the ripples are huge, but everything that is coming for me as far as what we would call the ascendance or the awakening or what we're expanding into really starts from within us, not anything that we have to heal in others, but how we see those reflections within ourselves and emanates through us. And then we carry it with a mastery that can never be extinguished. And I truly believe that's where we are in our point of consciousness, to to master that knowingness, to remembering. Anna Maria, this was huge in my session with you yesterday, remembering who you are, remembering who I am, and letting that just shine brightly, letting it penetrate everything that it can penetrate. So beautiful. Thank you, Anna Maria. All right, let's go to call it Julia. I love the question that you posed in the chat box, and I'd love it if you share it with the group.
Okay, thank you. What did I say? So I've been working as a healer for many years on people and animals, and that in and of itself is a blessing. But I always want to go deeper, do more. I've loved animals since I was a child, and I figure everything's an inside job, right? So I'm probably blocking myself from getting extra information, but I would just dearly love to be an animal communicator. So I wonder if you pick up anything on that, Anna Maria, and that would probably help other people as well, because if it's affecting me, other people probably have the same issue. Thank you.
Well, right. Well, first of all, thank you for being here. And I love, right, like this like-hearted tribe of animal lovers, right? But it's more than that, right? Like most people are like, oh yeah, I love animals. But there's this deeper piece where there are those of us who get it at a different level, even if we're not realizing that we're doing the two-way conversation is what I'm going to say to you, because the truth is you're doing it. You just don't realize that you're doing it. And what it feels like is, as a lifelong learner myself too, right? Like I can never learn enough and expand. And I'm constantly amazed at what keeps coming through for that next level of expansion. And it feels like for you especially, you're in this up leveling in the way that your abilities come through for you, the way that you are able to serve others, and all of that exchange. And it feels like the connecting with the animals and communicating with the animals is the logical next step. When I look in your field, it's like, oh, this is the next expansion, because it pulls it all together in another way where it's no longer these different threads of energy. It's all one. And then you can pick and choose what needs to come through, right? So if you're working with one of your clients, it may be animal energy that's needing to come through. Maybe it's from an animal that they're connected with. Maybe it's more of a spirit animal that's wanting to source them, or a power animal of some sort. And so what it feels like when I look in your field, everything's connected for you to do it, right? Like they show me like a little circuitry box, and sometimes I look in and it's like, this could start a house fire, but yours is like all upgraded, right? It's new and shiny. And so what I know then is that all circuits are go, and it's just the understanding for you. It really is partly the analytical understanding, which is understanding the energy, the mechanics behind the energy. And then it allows your brain to calm down for a second so that you can grab the information coming in, be it from an animal, be it from a tree, be it from, somebody, one of your guides. And so at this point, what I would say is know that it's already happening for you and follow the nudges to take the next step. And the next step, right, that's going to help you with that understanding the mechanics, because in your field, you're already doing it. You just don't realize it. And that's the sign of someone who is naturally predisposed to do it. The same thing had happened to me. I was like, well, that can't be it. That's so easy. That's so natural. I didn't even have to try. That's exactly what it's going to be like for you too. And I just got full body tingles when I said that. So congratulations. And I look forward to hearing about the unfolding for you.
Thank you so much. And I just have to show you this pillow that I have, this special soul that is like my mother in spirit, and same to my young adult daughter. And I knew I would get through on this call today. And yeah, she's always with me. I don't know if you get any messages. Like, I don't get messages from her other than
I got to tell you, I felt her crawl into my lap, right? Like she just crawled in, and like I kept feeling like the tail was like, if anyone saw me, I was like ducking.
Her tail's name is Thumper. Yeah, I named her tail.
See what I'm saying? Like she's here, she's showing up, and it feels like that peace, right? Like she always brings peace. So know that, feel that. And again, I feel like I have her hair in my nose, right? And there's no other animal in the room. So I'm so grateful that she came through, and just know that you're not making it up. She's there, and it's about peace.
Right. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
I love it.
Julia, can I offer a reframe? And I think this may be beneficial for a lot of us on this call, as I'm reminded to do it as well. So with your permission, I can share.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. So you're wondering where you were blocked. And I would ask, what am I ready to learn now? Or am I willing to learn? Or what new places am I ready to go that I'm saying yes to that I wasn't before? And so rather than creating this contraction of where you're doing something wrong or there's something in your field with you because of all this other work that you've done, it's really about the new territory and the new exploration, like Anna Maria is like right was saying with you, it's right there. So again, as you ask that question, the compassion and the playfulness, again, Anna Maria, you talked how our companions are coming in, they want us to be more playful and have more fun and all that. The curiosity, the awe, and the wonder of what's unfolding, rather than what you're not doing right or that you can't see because there's perhaps just, again, this block that you need to get past, may help you have more vitality with the energy, have more of this playful relationship that you're going to want to interact with. Even what you would call the block will be something that you'll want to be more enthusiastic being with than something that you have to get rid of right away so that you can move on to the next thing. Welcome it all. Welcome it all.
I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, of course. All right, let's go to our next caller. Melanie, let's get you to unmute and welcome to the call. And Melanie, can you find your unmute button, Melanie?
Sorry, just found it.
Awesome.
Can you hear me?
Well, welcome. What's your question for Anna Maria? Yeah.
Well, I have a kitten that we had declawed and fixed on the same day in March. And since that day, he is not the same. His personality has really changed. And he sits with his paw up all the time. And they're telling me that nothing's wrong, that he's okay. But I'm concerned that it's not. And I'm concerned that there's something else going on with him. Is there anything that I can help him with?
Yeah, oh my goodness, my heart goes out to you so much. That's so difficult. And that is quite the extensive surgeries that he had to go through all at once. And I feel like there's some nerve issues that are being affected. I mean, it's really amputation is what they're doing when they declaw cats. It's actually quite horrific. So what we need to do first is bring love to you, yourself, to the cat. Just because, right, like we would never mean harm, ever. Of course we wouldn't, right? Like we love these animals, but we have to bring compassion to ourselves too, because we're always doing the best that we know how to do. I do feel, like I said, through the surgery that there's some nerve endings that haven't quite healed. I'm trying to feel in if this is going to be an ongoing issue or if this is something that's going to, I'm getting that it's mostly going to even itself out, but it's going to, when did the surgery take place?
March.
So I'm really getting like 6 to 8 more months kind of that piece. So in the meantime, high quality full spectrum CBD can help on 2 fronts. One, for any pain or discomfort, and second, it works. It works with the endocannabinoid system, but it can help with different nerve issues as well. It's like helping the brain, help it to remember, to come back into balance. So then the energetics behind this, of course, would be and it makes me kind of want to cry, get teared up for you, your little girl around age 3 or 4. These pieces where things were just done to you, right? Like it didn't matter what you wanted. It didn't matter what you had to say and what you knew was best for you. So I would look at any memories that come up around that time. And I would use, again, this is the perfect example of what we were talking about earlier, where you can use the kitten, where you're working with the kitten to heal the kitten, but you're also working to heal your young one, because while she's in pain, there's also some anger behind it, right? And we don't need that popping up uninvited at unexpected times. So as you're caring for the kitten, even when you're just sitting together and you're cuddling her, right? Like, talk to her like she's your little girl, when you were a little girl, and be like, you know what? No one's ever going to do those things to you again. You know, I'm here, I'm in charge, and we're going to talk about things first, and we're going to make sure, and just let her know, because I also feel like this can show up for you in the ways that you go after things in your life, and like where you should be getting more effectiveness from the way that you're doing it, but it's almost it feels like there's no power behind it. So, and I feel it's all related to that 3-year-old. So if we can bring her into the fold and bring some healing there, you're really going to see traction in other areas of your life too.
Wow, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Melanie, thank you so much for calling in, and blessings to you both.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, we have a question that came in from Angela. So Angela writes, I have received messages from Raven saying death to the old, but I have a tiger as an animal totem guide. I feel blocked of the tiger's messages. What do I need to do to receive?
Well, like you said, you're already getting some messages, right? Like with that Raven energy. And when we talk about death to the old, another way to put that is bringing light to the darkness. And Raven also encapsulates that, right? It's absorbing all of those colors in it, and bringing that light to the darkness. In terms of the tiger, this is really, and we see this a lot in these group readings, where there's a piggybacking of the energies and even some of the messages, because it's that potent for so many of us. This is really around standing in your creative power with that tiger energy, especially around your second chakra. That I feel like it should be as big as a dinner plate, essentially. And for you, it feels like it's a button. And so we really need you. What I would do is I would invite Tiger in, right? Like even have Tiger sit in front of you and put its paw on where that sacral chakra would be, and let that energy come through, and visualize it getting bigger, right? Like as the pause there, it's getting bigger from the button to the dinner plate size. And it's just more creativity that's wanting to come through for you. But there's this, just like how tigers are facing extinction, it's the same energy for you, where you have you've been dismissed by other people so many times that you've started to embody it, and now you dismiss yourself before you even step into a possibility. So there's a dispowering going on there. So work with that tiger energy to open up that chakra.
Beautiful. All right, these are such great questions that are coming in. Angela writes, thanks so much, lots of love. Wonderful. All right, let's go to the next caller. We're getting to a special offer in a little bit also, y'all, and then we'll get to some more Q&A. But I want to make sure that you guys have ample time to sign up for the course that Anna Marie is leading us to, and also to access the one-on-one sessions, where again, you're going to get this and so much more. But I'm going to take one more caller before we go into the special offer. Machka, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, if I can get you to unmute.
Hi, it's Micah. Thank you so much. Hello,
Micah, thank you so much. Yes.
Hello, John. I can't believe it. Well, Anna Maria, you connected with my cat Tiger in spirit before. And also you helped me recently to connect with trees to help me move home. And I have now moved 3 months ago, and you wouldn't believe it, who is sleeping on my bed. It's a cat who lived for 6 years in the gardens at the back of my home, a ginger, and his name is Tiger.
Oh my God.
So, no coincidence.
Well done. Well done. Look at you. Look at everything you created. This is amazing.
I don't think I would have moved if not for him. He literally invited me. After the viewing, he came and rubbed up against my leg, and that was it. So I wonder, he must have been fed a diet of dry food for years. And I noticed he's taken to raw rabbits and chicken as if he's had that diet all his life in the beginning. But in the last week, I have a feeling that he wants to eat, but then he moves away from his dish because he's feeling nauseous. And I thought maybe it's cleansing because of all the dry food, and suddenly he's on such good diet.
Yeah, when I'm feeling in there, you're right on. I'm feeling not like a blockage, like you got to get them to the vet, not like that, but like I feel like this back up, which again, in the intestines, I'm feeling it. And that feels very congruent with me, with what you're saying, with the food change. So there's kind of like a backlog of old stuff that's not quite moving through. So what I would do is I would increase like either coconut oil or fish oil of some sort to kind of help lubricate, to help move that through some more. I feel it's going to pass, but it's like an indigestion kind of thing that's happening. He's not feeling good. I feel like there might be even a little constipation from the backlog of the old stuff trying to get out. And so, he knows I don't want to eat because I'm not comfortable. So help him with that. You could even have him lick oil off of your fingers if he's not going to want to eat it. And that will help him. And then watch his stool and see what's happening with it. But this feels like it's going to pass here in the next few days.
Great, thank you so much, because I've been trying to create lots of moisture in his diet now, like chicken broths and gravies, and he'll just lick and leave the rest. And I also notice a bit of bloody mucus in his poo, and his poo was very dry. So yeah, so it looks like I'm releasing the past.
Yes, exactly, right? It's that time before we knew better, right? Like we just did what we did, and then we knew better, and we eat better, we treat ourselves better, we know there's energy everywhere, but there's still residue left over from the old stuff. And so, an energetic piece that you can do when you're checking his stool is just say, and I'm releasing the past. And just and ride that energetic wave.
Yes, because I'm feeling very much, and feeling that I'm like starting finally the new chapter in my life after losing my tiger. And of course, it's no coincidence between tiger and tiger. Are they connected?
Misha, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, and blessings. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so April, do me a favor, type the link to the special offer in the chat box, please, and send it to everybody so that y'all can follow along, because what Anna Maria is presenting to us, it's so invaluable. And again, the session I had yesterday with Anna Maria, which I'll let Anna Maria discuss what's available to you in the 30 minutes with her, which goes a long way, is incredible. But the link for the special offer is in the chat box. Click on the chat box below where it says chat. Scroll, it's either at the top or at the very bottom, depending on how you open it, and just click on the link there. You can also open the special offer page. And again, these are special offers. These are discounted prices for sessions and package combinations, and you'll get things that you otherwise wouldn't have for participating on the call, from participating on Beyond the Ordinary. So it's an honor to bring these to you and making it so accessible as well. And so again, with that, you can click on the link or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Anna-Maria28, and it'll take it to that same page. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So as you're speaking of it, Anna Maria, we can just open up to, I love the whoop in the background. So
No,
Anna
me
Maria,
too.
yeah, guide us through what everybody's going to be participating in and the benefits that they'll get.
Yeah, what this is so great is for folks who are just now realizing that, oh my gosh, there is this energetic connection and there's messages coming from, but all the way through, even folks who are already communicating with animals. And, as, like I said before, as a lifelong learner, we always want to continue our personal and our professional development and go deeper and learn more. And so that's what this package is all about. And it really is one of my signature courses around these messages from animals. And so we start with our animals in the wild as messengers. That's the very first module. And so we look at, what does it mean? Because everyone says this, what does it mean? I saw a hawk. What does it mean when I saw a raven? Or I saw a dead animal, right? Like, what does that mean? And so we take that whole first module and we talk about the energy of wild animals and what it means, right? When you're encountering them, or what if you're in a group and you encounter them, and ways that you can raise your vibration to tune into those messages at an even deeper level to make it easier to understand them, right? When we're first trying to understand the messages, it's real staticky, it's real foggy, it's almost like you're in between radio stations. And so in this module, I give you some tips on how to tune in that radio station so that you can understand it. So again, this course, whether you have a companion animal or not, it doesn't matter, because we cover areas that are bigger than just our companions. So we start with animals in the wild as messengers, then we move into our companion animals, right? Like, this is always everyone's favorite, because we want to know, right? Like, what is my cat saying? What is my dog saying? What's my horse telling me? What are the chickens? What do they got going on? And in this module, it's really where you're able to make the connections and understand it, because we've already got the connection, that heart connection with our animals. Now we start looking at the energy and the way that they mirror back these things, what it can look like, what they're showing you. And I give you the examples of how I would, read something. Maybe it's a physical issue, or again, a behavioral issue. They all have different ways that we can come in and look at that. The third module, I absolutely adore, because nobody's talking about this. So everybody talks about power animals, everybody talks about spirit animals, and those, they're great, they're fun, right? Like, I love it. I focus on that too. But what we don't talk about are shadow animals, which shadow animals have the ability to turn into power animals in our life. And it's a very potent medicine, but the distraction that the shadow animal presents often keeps most people, majority of the people, from looking at it. So shadow animals are the animals that bring up intense emotions for us. Fear, right? Like, it can be lions and tigers, bears and creepy crawlies. Oh my goodness, right? It can be that, where we can look at those animals that bring up the fear in us. Or, of course, and I can hear you guys already, oh, no, I'm an animal lover. I love them all, even the creepy crawlies. I get you, I hear you, I'm there too. But when we think about our aging animals, or dying animals, or abused animals, right? Like, all the hair on us goes up and we're mad because these things are being done to the animals. So right there, it brings up an intense emotion, and that's a shadow animal aspect. And what it does is it keeps us stuck in that place where, right, we hear that someone has done something to the animals, and our first reaction is, I want that same thing to happen to them, right? Like, because we're so angry. But darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And so it gives us a different way for us to be with these strong emotions when there are actual injustices happening around the world. And it also allows us to help those animals from an energetic standpoint in a much more powerful way. Because when we come back at that situation with that same energy of hate and anger and violence, it's compounding what the animal's going through. So you're not helping anything. You can be as pissed off as you want, but you're not helping. You're actually hurting the situation. when you can come into a space where we can see it in a different way, and we know that the way to help the animal, and we learn those ways to tune in, to send them love and empowerment. And even, right, sometimes we can't get there and it takes a while, but only hurt people or animals. And so we know these people, these organizations that are doing these things, they're deep, deep wounds, and we can hold the space for them to have the heart opening to change. And we've seen, I mean, just in my lifetime, I've seen things change, things that used to be common that would happen to animals that were horrible, that no one cared about. And now it's like a big deal, so much so that we won't even purchase from certain suppliers because of their connections. So the Shadow Animals Messenger, this Shadow Animals module really empowers you to work energetically with the animals around the world, right? I get asked all the time, how do I help? Well, first of all, it's understanding the mechanics of the energy with the shadow animals, and you can be with that in a different way. It also empowers you to be with your own animals when they're in that transition period. So I feel like each of those modules is so fundamental to understanding and taking that connection with your animals, with the animals, to a deeper level. And so what I found also is folks who are wanting to start learning how to communicate, that this is the best primer for that. And folks who are already communicating, they say it's like turning up the flow, right? Like going from a garden hose to a fire hose, because it changes the way they're understanding the messages when they're coming through and the way that it comes through for them. So this is such a great course, no matter where you are in the spectrum of connecting. And then of course, I always add a live session with all of my courses, because I want you to have time, right? Like in a group session like this, where if you have questions about the course, you bring it there. Or you might just want a reading. I have to tell you, right? Like people say my courses are, they're in depth. I answer all the questions usually that you would have, because that's how I teach. I go by what's going to be the questions, and then I teach off of that. So a lot of times people come to the group sessions and they just want to play in the energy. You know, what messages do the animals have for me today, whether it's their own animals or spirit animals or animals in the wild. So we've got that time to come together in a group where we're focused on your questions, which is super fun. And then of course,
what I like this also, Anna Maria, and I really want to make sure that I bring awareness to all of y'all as to what's happening in these modules as well, because it's one thing to listen and pick up information. It's another thing to be transformed by who's holding the energy, the intention of the energy, and what you receive from it. So like in my session yesterday, and in this transmission that came through for me, and I haven't received the recording yet, but when I do, to go back into the energy and feel the expansion. So this is beyond an ebook or an audio course or something else. There's a lot happening here. And what I love that you're doing with the live group sessions also, Anna Maria, you help bring context to experiences, again, that we may not have words for, or that seem nonsensical to us, because our connection can be so profound that it's not normalized in our environment where we live. So these are taking you through the experience of those transmissions into the energy, into an embodiment and an attunement. And then it brings you into a resonant community that can help you integrate through that shared communion of experiences, and we'll call it energetic capacity, through the similarities and again, the resonant frequencies that are being carried by the collective group. So all this together, y'all, is $97 in package A. And just this by itself, with Anna Maria leading it and teaching it, and again, the transmissions that are coming through are extraordinary. And again, I love that you're offering the live group session. So thank you for that, Anna Maria. But then we get also, go ahead.
I'll say two things. One, with the live session, right? I work with a global group of like-hearted folks. So people are like, oh, what if I can't make it? Well, as soon as you register, you'll get the link for that live session, and you can enter your question, even if it's like, I'm just here for a reading, whatever, you can be included. Or if you have something more in depth, you can just write that in, and I'll be sure to cover that during that group session. And that price, right? Again, John and I are very much connected. I love this community so much. The resonance that we have is so great. You won't even find this price on my site. My people can't even get a price that's good. So I just really felt like it's time. We need to move forward. We need to start understanding these messages because it changes our lives. So that's why I really wanted to come in and say, okay, this is what we're doing. The value is huge, but we're going to do it for 97.
Well, and we didn't even get into the bonuses. I paused.
I forgot about it too.
So we've got the animals and the ascension process, and nature spirits and elementals as messengers.
So there's these aspects, right? Animals in the ascension process. So we all talk about our own ascension process. Well, me and my soul sister, Crystal Hughes, sat down and had a conversation about animals and the ascension process, their own ascension process, and how they source us in our ascension process. So again, high content, quality information, energetic information that a lot of us haven't been taught. And then taking it deeper, because so many folks who are drawn to the animals are also drawn to the elementals, right? The fairies, the sprites, the gnomes, all of those aspects. And so the second bonus has to do about elementals as messengers and giving you insight into that to kind of whet your appetite to go in deeper. So often those of us connected to the animals also have a profound connection to the elementals. So great information.
That's wonderful. So again, y'all, this whole package is $97. And again, it's truly a special offer, and I hope you dive into that. And if you choose package B, there's a private minute. Oh my God, a 30-minute private session with Anna Maria. And Anna Maria, what do you get into in these private sessions? Is it all about animals as messengers? Is it all about our familiars, or what can be open during this time together with you?
Yeah, this 30-minute session is really all about you. What are you bringing to the session? Of course, I can answer questions about the course specific for you, whatever you want to bring in, but I really set the space. What'll happen is you'll come into the session, we'll go through a breathing exercise. When I'm doing that, your team starts talking. And so they're going to bring through some information. They're going to bring through an animal, they're going to bring through a mineral, a tree, one of the elements that are going to create the container, set a theme for you for your session before I even know what we're talking about, right? They bring that through. We check in for resonance, and then we have plenty of time for you to go into whatever question you brought with you, whether it has to do with the course, whether it has to do with your animal, whether it has to do with just what's going on in your life, right? Like I said to John earlier, I can't hear the question without an answer coming through. This is your time to be in there. And what's phenomenal about this is for the price of this upgrade, you can't even get a single session with me for that price. So here you get a private session and the course. It is really time for us as humans to start remembering these things about how we're wired and how all of us have the inherent ability to do this. And it's time for us to start looking at the energy in a different way. And I was really deep in my listening about how we could bring that forward in a way that would be sourcing for people.
This is wonderful, Anna Maria. And then again, thank you for your generosity in offering this. Y'all take advantage of it. The link is in the chat box, or you can open the special offer page also by opening a new browser and typing in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Anna Maria 28. And I'll take you to that very same page. Package A, $97, includes all the modules. You get the live course. The course is recorded. You receive the downloads of those transmissions almost immediately. And then if you book your private session, you'll have a link for that. But if you decide to do a private session in package B, you get everything in package B and A. It's the whole package together. And of course, everything has a 2-payment option because we want to make this as accessible to you as possible. So again, take advantage of that. And Anna Maria, I'm going to stop sharing here and get you back on the screen. And I'd love to open up to some more Q&A if you're ready.
Super fun.
All right, let's go for it. Peggy, how are you? If you can unmute yourself, please. Peggy Irving, did you find your mute button?
Oh my gosh.
There you are. Hi.
Aloha. Oh my gosh. I feel so blessed.
We feel the same. What's your question for Anna Maria?
Anna Maria, I don't have a question. I'm open to receive whatever comes through.
Absolutely. I am just, first of all, loving your heart. Like I could feel it as soon as you
It's
so
like,
yeah. It is fun, right? Because you don't expect to get picked because there's like however many people. But how wonderful for you. That's very, very exciting. And I have to tell you, as I'm feeling in for you, I've got this bluebird energy coming through. And that bluebird, of course, we know, we've heard before, bluebird of happiness. But beyond that, you know, like, what does that mean? Well, it means get out of your head, right? Like we want to figure things out. And especially the way that you're wired, right? Like you want to do a good job. You've got a little bit of that overachiever complex going on, and that's okay, right? That's fine. We can use it, you know, for our purpose work and all of that. But when we want to really rise above, when we want to land in that happiness, it's about, just like the bird, right? Getting out of our lower thinking mind, rising above and connecting to that divine mind. So anytime we've got bird energy, it's reminding us we got to get out of our head if we want to call in the new possibilities. So I'm seeing both the male and the female bluebirds. And so it's like, whatever you're looking to create in your life, whatever you're looking to birth, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to do it by getting out of your head, right? Like you get the idea, then we got to disconnect from the thinking mind. It's great for, you know, balancing our checkbook. But when we're trying to create new possibilities, we got to use that element of air, get out of our head, connect to the divine mind, and let the inspiration come in from there.
Thank you so much.
Peggy, it's wonderful to have you on here. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, the bluebird. Anna Maria, what's the aspect for Peggy that I get about opening to receive? There's just like so much that wants to come in.
Well, and that's part of that, right? Like I saw the pair, right? The nesting pair. It's time, right? Like you need to receive this, you know, when the birds make their nest, because they're ready to create life, they're ready to create that next thing. So it's time for you to receive that inspiration. You've done the nest building already, right? Now we've got the confirmation of the two birds there. We got everything we need to make a baby bird. So it's time for you to bring that baby bird into the world.
I love that. All right, love. Thank you so much for calling in. All right, let's go to our next caller. Alicia, welcome to the call.
Hello.
Hey.
Can you see me?
Oh.
We can. Yes, welcome. Thank you for coming on here. Alicia, yes.
Yes, Alicia, like elegant. Anyway, my question for you is, I've had a little bit of disappointment with my spiritual business. I've just been planning it. I just finished my website. Have been working really for years on it to get it to this point. I just spent the last of my money on a big program on TikTok that will help me be successful on TikTok so that I can get people to my site. And it looks like that I just started that program, and it looks like that program does not support me in the way I needed to be supported. So I'm feeling discouraged in this moment.
Absolutely. And anyone who's ever done any kind of business, especially as a solopreneur, our hearts all sank when you said that, because we've all had those experiences, right? Like we sank in the last money to do, you know, it was supposed to make these big leaps and bounds. And, you know, we did what we were supposed to do, and here we are. So actually, I have to tell you, we got some more bird energy coming in here. This bird's quite a bit bigger than the little bluebirds that were here before. I've got eagle energy coming in for you. And of course, eagle energy is all about the divine messenger, right? Connection to the divine. It's also about getting perspective and really being able to hone in on those aspects of our purpose and vision. So this is that piece, right, where we need to get that above that bigger bird's eye view, right? Because when we're right up here, all we can see is crap. I don't even know what to do at this point. So calling on that eagle energy. And what I would like you to do, because you're more advanced too, and you get this, I want you to visualize yourself going on a journey with eagle. And I want you to see yourself on like a cliff ledge with eagle, and get on eagle's back, and then go with eagle and soar, and ask eagle to show you, what do you need to focus on next? Where do you need to direct, your next movement? And eagle's going to be able to show you. You're either going to have the knowingness. Well, you're so multisensory too, so it could come in a couple different ways for you. Okay. But I feel like you're either going to see it, or your knowingness, your claircognizant, where you're like, oh yes, okay, that's the piece I need to look at next. But at this point, work with that eagle energy, and through this full moon, right? We're in the full moon energy here. We're just stepping into it, but it's going to be potent for, I would say the next week. Work with full moon energy and this eagle energy to source you, first of all, to release the disappointment, right? Because it's big. It's a big friggin' deal. First, release that's the grief about it, and then get ready for the journey with the eagle to show you, all right, next steps. We're going to dust ourselves off. We're going to move forward, and we're going to create what you needed to create, even though it doesn't look like it.
Okay, thank you so much. I so appreciate it.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, and for all of y'all who are starting businesses, again, there's and this isn't esoteric information, but it's just a lot that we have a lot of promises of what can help us build our business and do other things. And the one program that only hits, and I just get, be open, like Anna Maria was suggesting, be open to receiving, to taking the bird's eye view, that eagle view. And I love the eagle for you also because it carries the lightness of heart, that light heart that allows it to soar to places where other birds can't, that consciousness that can see and see what's available in so many different options that wants to resonate with you. And that's true of anything that's going to support your business. We all love that one hit lightning bolt type of answer that would open up everything. But from a practical standpoint, if that were the case in a program where to offer that, so many people would have signed up and they'd be charging a lot for that, to be honest. And so be open and definitely follow your guidance. But I'd want you to put all your hopes and your energy into you, not into something that's going to do it for you. And from that, it'll expand and ripple out and land exactly where it's meant to for you, and it'll serve others. So that's my business 2.0 advice. Oh, interesting. Valerie's writing in. Valerie wants to know if you're seeing a dog coming soon into her life.
Oh, I'm just giggling because it's the cutest dog ever, first of all.
Oh, sweet.
It's not a puppy. It's a little bit older. It feels somewhere like 3 to 5 years old. But absolutely, it almost feels like you've been healing up from some past losses, and it's, the time. I would talk with your other animals who've crossed over. They're super helpful at connecting us with I always say our next teacher, but the next animal that is going to be coming into our pack. So super cute little face. Like it felt like the dog came running in and like licked me on my face, right? Like came right in. So absolutely, it feels like somewhere in the realm of the next 6 months. So what I would be doing on your end is getting really clear around ease and grace in your next teacher, right? Because our animals can come in. I've had animals come in and be very easeful teachers with me and gentle. And I've had animals come in that were really tough teachers. And so I would definitely call on a little ease and grace for you to step into this next chapter.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Anna Maria. And let's go to another live caller. Let's go to Layla. Welcome to the call. Let's get you to unmute, please.
Hi, thank you so much. I feel so much energy on this call, and it's very emotional just to be on here. And so I do love the animals, so maybe that's why. But I was going to ask about my cat Lulu and some kind of scabs on his skin, and what you might offer about that.
Yeah, let me feel in here for a second and see what's going on. Well, it's interesting. How old is Lulu?
Not great with time. I don't know, 7 maybe.
Okay, she feels a little bit older than that.
Okay,
but
probably.
That's fine. I'm feeling actually like I'm feeling like she's having some referred pain, actually, almost like an early onset arthritis of sorts. And like when it flares up, that she'll bite at it, and it leaves these marks from that. So I'm feeling like, again, when we've got the arthritis kinds of that inflammatory feeling that comes through, I always like to go to the fish oils. They really do tend to bring down some of that inflammation that's going on. So you might even want to just do your own little examination with her, right? And check like what seems stiffer, certain joints and stuff. I'm feeling this more on the back end than the front end, for sure. Or also it could be like a little bit of arthritis right in the base of the spine, right? Like that twisting point. So you can just feel, and if you touch alongside, right, like alongside the spine, you'll see how the skin and everything reacts. Just look, you might see a little bit of a difference down in that waist, what we would consider the waist, and just check that out. It feels like it's early onset, and there's only certain, like, it flares up once in a while. So I would be watching for that, and then see if you do need to, you know, transition to something else like a CBD or something to help with. But it feels like flare-ups.
I feel like I have early onset arthritis in my hands.
Interesting, right? So these places where we need to have some dexterity to do things. And you know how like when you get that, and normally you'll feel it like when the storm's coming in or the weather's going to change and the pressures, and it's just like a deep ache and you can't get to it, right? Like you can't rub your hand hard enough to get to the point, but it's deep in. And now picture that for a cat, right? They can't get to it. And this is all our animals, they'll do this. Sometimes they'll start to bite at it, right? Like, and it's kind of like when we rub it really hard thinking we'll get to it eventually, but we can't really get through it because it's, you know, deeper inside. So like I said, at that point, especially for cats, they don't have a lot of great pain med options. So high quality CBD is always going to be my recommendation for cats.
So is he holding my arthritis, or is that his own, or how do you know?
Well, there's usually a little bit of both, right? There's a little bit of A and a little bit of B. This feels like it's his own, but it feels like he is showing it to make, show you like, you can do something, right? Like, you don't got to suffer kind of thing, that there are things that you can do to get, you know, into movement to get some relief. So it feels like it's just the mirroring back to kind of help both of you.
Okay.
All right, Layla, thank you so much for calling in. If you want to go deeper, ask more questions, the special offer of Anna Maria would be wonderful.
Yeah, and then I can talk about my CBD with you in a way that you
Which
could
would also
on yourself that would also help you dose him at the same time.
Okay.
Anna Maria has some of the purest CBD that's infused. It's amazing. If you want to check it out on her website. So just look up Anna Maria, Google her name, and you'll find the website and check out her CBD.
Okay.
Which is
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thank you, Layla. Okay, let's go on to our next caller. And Nancy, let's get you to unmute. Welcome to the call.
Oh, thank you. Hello, John. How are you today? Hi, Anna Maria.
Wonderful, thank you.
I guess my question is a little bit more with the horse consciousness. So I do some EFL work with the horses. How do the horses, I'm feeling like my horses aren't engaged in the work, and I'm wondering if their collective consciousness is moving beyond that also.
Well, that is a really, really good question, because there are times, right? Just like us, you know, like we look around at our friends and we're like, well, I don't know why they don't want to do energy work or why this person doesn't want to do this or that, but it's just some of us, you know, everyone's on their own path. And I found the same thing with our animals, that some animals are like, oh, pick me, I really want to do that. And some are like, I don't really want to do it. But I feel like it's more on track with what you're saying here, that they're beyond that particular technique, that they're like, we're ready to bring in something else. We're ready to bring in next level. So even you sitting with them, you know, spending time and asking, what is it? And they can start to bring it in. You can also, right, like sometimes if I sit with my horses, it's great and it's peaceful. And then other times they're like, I just want to see what's in your pocket and I want to play with your hair, you know, and it's not as meditative as it can be. So you could also do it in your house and connect with your herd and ask them, what is it? What is it? But I feel like it's something that they're bringing through. It's not like you got to go get another certification or something. They're bringing something through that is going to add to what you're doing or what you already know to do and take it to that next level.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, very exciting. And they're excited about that, right? Like I started to get the bucking around when, you know, and then they'll just tear around because they're so excited. Like I started getting that with them as soon as you said, great. So they're like, oh, she heard us.
Okay, thank you.
Great work, Nancy.
Some extra treats, please, right? Like very rarely do I get out of a session without an animal working me for treats.
Oh, sure. Yes. Thank you. Okay.
All right, blessings, Nancy. Thank you.
They're so fun.
So awesome. Horses are pretty
profound
and expansive. It's just, it's that I can tell you stories all day long of what comes through that consciousness. So it's so beautiful, so profound. We should have a call on horses one day, just the transmissions. It's just really, that's fun. For another day. Yeah. Let's go right now to Penny. Penny, welcome to the show. And Penny, did you get a chance to unmute?
Okay.
There you are. Hi.
Thanks. Hi. Excuse me. I'm just going to move outside where I have better reception. So I didn't really have anything in specific. I have a cat and she kind of overeats and I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, let me feel in. You know, I thought it was going to be your cat that was going to come through, but this is a small dog, actually. It's not a cat at all. It's a smaller dog.
She doesn't eat that much.
But this feels like a dog from when you were growing up. Like it would have been like a relative's dog. And it looks to me a little bit like what I would say like a Yorkie of some sort. It's little, but it's got a hairdo. And I'm feeling this connection again, right? Like you wouldn't have seen this dog very often, but when you were there, like there was this fixation between the two of you. And I feel like it's pointing to, again, showing up unexpected and kind of uninvited, right? Like I thought I was going to talk to a cat and this dog just popped in. And this is pointing back for you about, oh, that's interesting. This little dog is so funny because it's not it's not going any of the places that I think it should be going, right? Like this whole reading is like got its own life here, but they're pointing to your ancestors, actually, to your family, and that there are pieces of the giftedness in the energy that was in your family that of course couldn't always be talked about, but that you have access to. And it's almost like it's just right there and you just have to say yes. So I would connect with this little dog, right? And when I say connect, I mean, get in the breath, drop into the heart space, all of those pieces. Just visualize a little Yorkie sitting in your lap. And actually the dog is correcting me. The dog is saying, I sit on a pillow in the chair next to her. So just picture a little dog on a pillow next to you and connect in and say, what is it from my family, from my lineage, that is the gift I'm to receive? Because it feels like it's either a transmission or this knowingness that's going to drop in for you around your particular abilities of reading energy, actually. So connect in and receive that. It's almost like you got to claim your prize kind of thing.
Yes, thank you.
All right, Penny, thank you so much for calling in. All right, let's go. Well, before I take the next caller, again, I want to remind you all of the special offer with Anna Maria. And again, it's a gift to be able to offer this here on BTO to this community that I just love so much, and to share you with really the people who are nearest and dearest to me, who I know are just such impactful way showers, just brings me so much joy and appreciation. But again, the special offer link is in the chat box. And y'all are going to get the opportunity to work one-on-one with Anna Maria if you choose package B. And you can go into working with animals or animals as messengers, but you're also open to other realms of possibility. And again, my session yesterday with Anna Maria had me reeling, had me in this energetic flow where I really couldn't even find the words to ground them in for quite some time. There's huge shifts that are occurring within me. And with how we're all transitioning and getting into expansive collectives and consciousness, I can only imagine that there's quite a few things that may be profound that are shifting for you as well. Either if you're working, if there's like a disassembling of what didn't work so that you can open up to new, or if you've opened up to new and what else is possible from there. Anna Maria can help you integrate, can help you to expand on what's becoming available. But for me, what Anna Maria does so beautifully is that she gives practical exercises and tools and visualizations and puts you in the energy. So it's not, well, this is what you need to do and you're left hanging. It's like you truly are just this beautiful guide, both out into the energetic realms, connecting us and our ability to connect with that intelligence, but also how to embody, ground it in, and apply it to different situations in our life. So that by itself with the one-on-one sessions, it's amazing. And again, my session was profound. And the first package A, which includes your animals as messengers. Again, animals in the wild as messengers, companion animals as messengers, shadow animals as messengers, but really the different aspects of what they're bringing to us and the messages that are coming through. And Anna Maria, I have to ask you, as you connect to animals as an animal communicator, once you've honed your skill, how often is it that you reach out to another animal communicator for interpretation or asking you to see what you don't see? Or how much have you empowered yourself in this work where it just becomes a knowing? And a direct relationship with the animals.
You explained that really well. It's a process, right? And I'm fortunate enough that I am a reader for a lot of other professionals, and I do not take that lightly. It's such an honor. And there are those times, right? Like we're honing our abilities. I really pride myself on on-demand guidance, for myself. But there are those times, right, when the situation's so highly charged that it's hard for us to get that perspective. So I don't have to do it very often. I'm grateful, but I do, right? Like from time to time, we'll reach out. And again, I'm known for reading for other readers as well. So I'm super honored by that. And I get, right, we're all just walking each other home. And it helps when we can get an outside perspective. And so often, this is a great lesson for all of us to remember when I am reading for those professionals. All of a sudden they're like, oh my God, it's total confirmation and acknowledgement of what I was getting, but I was afraid that I was making the wrong, decision, or I was, my confidence wasn't there. I didn't trust it because the situation was so charged. And, that's true for so many of us. We're getting the information, but we don't trust it. And we're not practicing that trust, building that confidence. So we have all of these, I call them psychic guessing games that we do. And we're like, okay, if I get this right, then I'm gifted, right? And we're like, okay, well, if I get 3 out of 5 or whatever it is, and we actually end up building more hesitancy and more uncertainty in us than actually helping us move through it. So I'm so honored that I get to read for other folks, whether they are readers or they're not readers, but the understanding and the shifts, right? Like I feel like I'm the poster child from the person who was like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but how do you do that? Yeah, but how do you do that? And so I'm grateful that when I'm teaching, when I'm doing readings, that it stays very focused on what are the practical aspects to apply these spiritual principles. Because if we can't do it, what good is it?
Right, exactly. So again, I love the way you teach and share and illuminate. So it happens in the courses as well. So again, package A, $97, the courses and the live call with Anna Maria in September. And then if you want both packages, which includes again all the courses and the transmissions there, plus a 30-minute session with Anna Maria, that's $247 with a 2 payment option as well. The link's in the chat box, or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Anna Maria 28. And of course, we're going to be running a replay. I want to take, before I give the replay link out, most of y'all know where it is, but I'm going to say it anyway. But before we get to that, I do want to take another question that came in through the chat box, and I'm actually going to, this question I think is so heart-touching. The request that's coming in, and something that I think we can all relate to in our own individual ways. But I'm also going to ask all of y'all if you would provide a positive message or vibration of love for Lori and Lucky as I read this question here in a second. Before I read the question and before we finish with that call today, the replay link, as I was mentioning, come back and listen to the replay also. The link will be sent out in the email a little bit later, but you can always access replays by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replays. So with the Anna Maria, I want to end with this question from Lori. And so Lori wants to know if her pet Lucky, her pet dog Lucky, knows that her husband passed on. He was her number one person. Does she understand what happened? I feel she's still looking for him, waiting for him to come home. He passed away on July 2nd, so it's recently.
All of us can feel that. And this is when our tribe, right? Like this is where we really shine. We are tribal people. None of us are meant to do this alone. And so if we can all just visualize these sweet souls in the humans and the animals in the center of our circle, and let's just all send love there. This is a huge time of transition, as all of us know, whether we've experienced it personally or helped somebody else through it. And I just want to focus that love there for a second, and then I'll see what Lucky has to say about this. And so just sending that love, feeling that coming into the center of the circle, and then coming back to all of us, right? We can never outgive love. It's always coming back at us, and just feeling that support to get through these next days, this next chapter coming up here, and to really soothe the souls and to bring in those happy memories, those times of connection, and remembering those. Whew. So we're sending that, and you're right. It feels like Lucky doesn't, when I feel in there, Lucky's like, well, he should be back by now, is what I get, right? Like it keeps coming through like, well, he should be back. And he keeps like looking around. So I feel also, because as we were doing that, I was sending the information to let him know that your husband is still there. All around, that energy is still there, and that the job now is to anchor in that light. Our animals do really well when they have a job and not, watch the house, right? Because that creates a lot of other issues. But I always like to say anchor in the light, that's their job as they're there. And as Lucky anchors in the light, that is also going to source you in this transition, right? And I want you to remember, you don't have to worry about how are you going to get through next month, next year, next 5 minutes. That's all you have to do right now, this moment. Just be present. This is a time, the grieving period is important for us in our processes and in our cycle and in our evolvement and our expansion. So don't try and shortchange yourself of this, and know that those intense emotions, unless we're feeding them a story, that intense emotion only lasts for 90 seconds. And it's typically more like 45 seconds. But if we're feeding a story, then that pain is going to stay there. And also know that those who cross over, animals, people, all of them, that they absolutely show up and let us know that they're there. And what will happen is we'll have a brief moment where we smile because we think about them. We have a memory of some sort, but then we automatically go into the story of they're gone, I'm sad, it's not fair, or whatever the story is. And what has been described to me by humans and animals is it takes a lot of energy to get that memory to pop in, or to get the physical to do something that sparks that memory for you. And so when we dismiss it, that it's a dishonoring. So just say thank you, right? Like when you catch yourself in the memory and the brief respite from the pain, just say thank you and ask for more of it. Ask him to show you more and more that he's there and he's around. And even watch Lucky, because Lucky will definitely sense that energy. And you'll see the shift from the confusion of Lucky being like, where is he, to you're going to know when he's around, because Lucky is going to shift as well, and the tail's going to get going and stuff. So so much love to you during this time of transition.
So beautiful. And Lori, again, thank you for asking the question for yourself and for Lucky and for all of us. And again, I really felt there's a resonance with us, even as we transitioned and old things are dying off, if you will, or evolving. And we're moving into, again, levels of consciousness that we just weren't aware before, and how we integrate with that. And perhaps what falls away, or we think falls away, but truly what comes with us, even though we can't see it or feel it in the way that we used to, because it all comes with us. It truly does. And again, that's why I love what you're putting in the animals as companions and the shadow animals also, because guess what, y'all? All that is part of us. And they're reflecting it back to us, and how wonderful and how beautiful that we get to celebrate all the gifts that are here for you, that are here for Anna Maria, that are here for me, that are here for us. And in that, we're all making this beautiful collective transition together, each taking each other in by the hand and leading ourselves home. So it's, Anna Maria, it's always absolutely beautiful what you share and how you share, and your generosity. It's just, I love you, and I love the work that you do.
Well, I adore you. And I have the best time when I get to be with you and your community. There's just so much resonance. You can feel the lightheartedness. It's so fun, right? Like, this isn't work, this is play. This is us playing in the energy and remembering, and the animals just make it all that much better, right? Like they're the cherry on the top. So I'm super grateful that you've created such a beautiful space for us to have these soulful conversations. And I'm super grateful to be here.
I'm grateful to you as well. And I'm grateful to all of y'all as well. Thank you for being on the call. Thank you for watching on the replay. I send you all my love. I bow down to each and every one of you. Namaste. And I'll see you on the next call.